What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight as we kick off another week of discussing our Dallas Cowboys, breaking it down. And of course, we're heading into the first day of mandatory MINICAMP. So can't wait to discuss that. Of course, we have some Cowboy updates, news, info, all sorts of things to discuss. But first, have to shout out the people here who help make things happen.
And making the MCF world go round here.
Thank you very much.
Sponsor of the week.
And the Cash App King, David S.
Hell yeah. Much love to him.
Thank you so much, David. Appreciate you, of course, representing on both sides of that board there. And speaking of representation, Marco Seppian, mahalo to you. He is still bossing that stream around with 48 points.
Much love to big Mark H. But do you know who's leading right now on the Cash App side of things, baby?
Who?
Who? No one. No one. It's empty. So David S. still repping that crown, but no one, on the road to taking that crown back. So we'll see what happens. Sponsor of the week, of course, David S. But who's coming for that top spot? Well, none other than the man staying skeptical, the man who has the gifting membership lead for this month, the king of last month's membership gifting, Skeptical fan. Much love to him. He also, again, guys, had a $2 thanks on one of our earlier videos that we posted out there in the shorts world. So much love to him on that. And also, he dropped 2 gifted memberships pre-stream tonight here.
Thank you so much, Skeptical.
I think it was Stephen White and Bama Fan got the gifts.
That's right.
Love. Congrats to those guys, and much love to Skeptical Fan as he continues to lead the overall board. And Dwayne Broussard had a little pre-stream DAC drop, a $4 holler by the man Dwayne Broussard.
With the classic Go Cowboys.
Yeah, Go Cowboys with the man, DB, the top dog. Now, appreciate all you guys on all those fronts. And, hey, we'll stop the show, discuss with you guys when you guys drop love, Cash App. There's different ways of doing it, as you can see here. There's super chats, of course. It's the best way of doing it, fastest way of doing it. Memberships, the membership gifting, which is a big deal, new thing on our channel. And, of course, 4 other ways we've kind of been rolling along in the background. If you have those who want to go that route, there's other ways.
Of course, the Cash App, money sign MyCowboysFamily, the Venmo at my-cowboys-family, your regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link as well. Let your comment show up right here on screen.
Yeah, guys. So appreciate everybody here who's gone through that or gone through the Super Chats, memberships, whatever. We appreciate it. There's the commercials all over for the intro, baby. Now it's time to shout out those repping it in the chat to talk about today's mandatory minicamp. Day 1 of 3, we're thinking. We'll see if the media is allowed for all of them. But we'll definitely discuss everything, the recap today on this live stream. Now, we also have a video we posted earlier today, basically kind of summing everything up. We're going to dive a lot deeper tonight.
Yeah, that's kind of the general overview, right? Yeah. Now it's time to get into the nitty-gritty. And of course,
into the shout.
Can't do that without shouting out Rolando Rodriguez in the chat. Much love. Scorpio representing. Mahalo to you, of course. Yeah. We have Nate Rosario. Hello and hi. Stephen White in the house. Let me see who else is here. Mike Aidana, much love.
Yeah.
Let me see. Mansfield Kirkland, hello and hi. Cowboy fans for life, you know it. Bruce got the Toxic Juice representing.
Toxic Juice.
David Lara, hello and hi. The top dog himself, of course, Dwayne Broussard.
DB.
We have, who else is here? Skeptical fan always. Staying skeptical.
Man, coming for the top spot.
Yeah. Freedom first. Not first today, but always...
Always around the first, right? One of the top 10. Like Dak, top 10.
Bama fan, hello and hi to you as well. Let me see. And Nate, honestly, we're not really DC or Marvel people here in the MCF house.
I'm neither. I like Unbreakable. That's my favorite superhero movie. It's not going to be in the Marvel. It's a M. Night Shyamalan there. Right? That's But outside of that, yeah, I think the Little J don't really care for much of that. Little G, what is he more?
Into anime, which made me laugh a little bit because I know I saw your comment there, Scorpio. I got that.
We're a weird family, I guess you can say. But hey, we're a Cowboys family here, right?
No, we have a wide variety of things we enjoy. So
we love it. Anyways,
and Nate, Scorpio was making a reference to an anime, not trying to say he's punching you. One Punch Man is just an anime. So
all good. Hey, we're kicking this thing off on a punch here, with a punch to the chest, I guess you can say.
Man.
So, yes, welcome everybody to My Cowboys Family. And let's just open this up right away. Let's get it going because there's a lot to talk about today.
Yes.
And the Cowboys had, they had the high school coaches in here a couple days ago. and McCarthy and the coaches talking with them. They also had a seminar for the life-saving techniques of CPR. So again, this was yesterday. It occurred. A group of these high school football coaches were treated to philosophical and fundamental tips from the pros. That was yesterday, 2 days ago. But then afterwards, this course provided by the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones was there. A lot of others are there, providing medical doctors how to do this. So, a lot of people were there learning, these high school coaches, in case someone collapses in the field, something happens. Again, think of the Damar Hamlin situation, right, in the NFL. Saved his life, literally. So,
I was going to say, I like that at least that has kicked off a nice little wave of, maybe just a bigger focus on safety and the things that we can do, to maybe pick up a few skills to keep us all safe.
Again, great idea. Cowboys leading the way on that, at least with this seminar with these high school coaches. Also, I want to say that, kind of in reference to this, as we go to the NFL news, first time in the OTAs open to the media, Damar Hamlin for the Bills wore his helmet and was a full participant in practice. Amazing, incredible, guys. I mean, not even like the beginning of the year this happened, right? And he's back in practice, the helmet on, listed at, again, no hitting, but again, full practice, great for him going forward, yes. Now, here's some other news, very, very dangerous. 2 Cleveland Brown players were robbed at gunpoint by 6 masked men. That was according to a police report. Now, a team source confirmed the 2 players are Greg Newsom II and Perion Winfrey, but neither were harmed during the incident, thank goodness. Now, of course, the police will continue to investigate that. Now, I do want to go into two players here in the NFL, just NFL news. One of them's a former Cowboy. One of them refers to a current Cowboy. But Dolphins center, former Cowboy, Connor Williams. We actually brought him up yesterday.
I brought him up the other day, yeah.
He is not at minicamp today. It's not an excused absence. Now, again, when I was talking about Damar Hamlin, they are still on OTAs. Then not every team is kicking off their mandatory minicamps yet, but the Dolphins are today, kicking it off like the Cowboys did. And Connor Williams does not have an excuse for missing this one. He's entering the final year of his contract. He's the only Dolphins player that did not attend mandatory minicamp. That means he'll get fined.
Ouch.
Connor Williams is pushing for a new deal with the Dolphins. Remember, guys, he finished his 4 years with us, went to the Dolphins for 1 year, and now the contract's up. He's a free agent. Well, I'm sorry, I think it's up to a 2-year deal. I'm sorry. He's on his contract year now, so he's pushing for a new deal that's going to make him one of the 5 highest paid centers in the NFL. Remember, we tried him at center. This guy couldn't snap a goddamn ball. I don't know if it's our coaches, Philbin, I don't know what, but in Miami, this guy has become a better center than he is a guard, and a top 10 guy, at least at center, like Biadasz. So not like we would drop big time there, but yeah, we had a guy here could possibly help us already if the coaches, Philbin, would have maybe done a little bit better as coaches. I don't know. But Connor Williams right now wants to get paid as a top 5 center, so maybe it's better we just stick with Biadasz. Although I'll say this, though, baby. Guess who's on his contract year as well? Tyler Biadasz. 4th year. This is it. His rookie contract. The Cowboys got to decide whether they can keep Biadasz or not. Can this, if Connor Williams gets a top 5 center pay, what is Biadasz going to ask for next year? Interesting. Now, last player I want to talk about in the NFL, and after this is all Cowboys, pretty much. Actually, there's one of the 3 players, and we're through one. Now we're going to go to the next one. Running back from the Raiders, Josh Jacobs. Head coach for the Raiders, Josh McDaniels, said that Jacobs is, since he's still kind of trying to push for a new contract, he has no contract. Actually, let me rephrase that. He hasn't signed his franchise tag yet, so there's no way he's going to come into practice. And again, he is franchise tagged. As you can see, here's an example of a guy maybe wanting to get the full-term deal, a long-term deal, and it's not liking playing getting the tag like Pollard did. But that's kind of what I'm going to bring up here with the Cowboys. Now, McDaniels said that since he's not under contract, and hasn't signed that franchise tag, there's, for him, he's not going to get fined for missing mandatory minicamp. You guys understand me? He's not under contract. So Josh Jacobs,
you can't find someone that you have not contractually obligated to, owe you money to be fined.
Smart for Jacobs to not sign that tag if he knew he was going to sit out. But outside of him, perfect attendance for the Raiders. And McDaniel spoke highly of Jacobs. So, respectful of the process. We'll see how that turns out. I do want to make a mention about all the tagged players this offseason. Tony Pollard, our guy, TP, the only player. Actually, let me do this like this so you guys know who I'm talking about. But Tony Pollard, who is, of course, currently on a franchise tag, signed the franchise tag. Guess what? He's the only franchise tag player without a long-term deal. Some guys got their deal, some guys didn't. But he's the only guy without a long-term deal who has signed his tag. Everybody else has not signed their tags, which means they're not attending minicamps. But Pollard, he signed it. He's there, full. Cowboys had a great attendance today. Let me put it that way. I think perfect attendance for the Cowboys today at a mandatory minicamp. But Tony Pollard, again, guys, the only one of the franchise tagged players without a long-term deal who still has signed the tag and, of course, attending minicamps. So that's good news for our side of things and Tony Pollard. Now, look, I'm going to pop him back up here. Tony Pollard, why? Because there's late word tonight. And, again, I don't want people going crazy about this. I didn't put it in the title. I didn't make a picture of this. But the New York Jets and the Dallas Cowboys have been mentioned to have interest in four-time Pro Bowl running back from the Minnesota Vikings, Dalvin Cook. Now, this is supposedly from SI, Sports Illustrated now. This is according to KSTP's Darren Wolfson. He said, quote, Dallas is a team that he's, quote, heard a lot, at least internally, that the Cowboys have kicked around the option of adding Dalvin Cook. So, again, this sounds like a due diligence move by either Stephen Jones or Dalvin Cook. Kind of, hey, let's put the star out there so I can get more money from the Jets because, again, the Jets are the other team in the running here. And, again, I'm leaving Pollard up there because, we would have Pollard and Cook and, the rest of the core of our running backs we have right now. That would probably make, Ronald Jones kind of dispense, probably be released in this case or practice squad player. But here's the deal, guys. The Vikings still have him. He hasn't been released. They're looking to try to maybe trade him, of course. If the Vikings release Dalvin Cook, his cap hit for them drops to $5.1 million. And if they release him, of course, whoever signs him for whatever the new deal is, similar to Ezekiel Elliott, right? If the Vikings end up trading Dalvin Cook, his cap hit for the Vikings drops to $3.1 million. So their interest is to trade Dalvin Cook because they will actually save $2 million on the cap. And if they release him, it's the full hit and they don't get any compensation, nothing like this for him. So right now they're really trying to trade him. And right now what I'm hearing, like I just said, the Jets and the Cowboys, the two teams out there battling for Dalvin Cook. Supposedly, the Jets seem to be the number one contender. I think the Cowboys are either thrown in there because of due diligence from Stephen Jones or, Dalvin Cook throwing the star in the mix, try to bump up the offers from the Jets, his pay. But also, Darren Wolfson said this, quote, I will. Again, he's from KSTP, so take it where it is, grain of salt. He said, quote, I will still be surprised, I guess, if the Vikings do cut him here in June right now. It's likely, okay, let's say it's July 27th and he gets cut. I get it at that point. But how does it benefit the Vikings to cut him right now? Why not exhaust all trade options until the trade is not in play? And that's kind of what the view is here. Basically, the Vikings are going to continue to try to trade Dalvin Cook until there's really no trades left, and then they'll have to release him probably. I'm sure if it's the end of July, he'll probably be released. If it's anything before now and then, anything comes down their way, they will much rather want to trade Dalvin Cook. The Cowboys will only go for this. We know it. If it's a steal of a deal in some kind of way, we better not be overpaying, right, Jerry? That's what I got to clarify this because Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, do not overpay for Dalvin Cook in money or in trade value, trade capital. That's my opinion. I'm down with TP. You know me. So, that's kind of the breakdown there. Any quick thoughts on this, maybe, or from you or from the chat about Dalvin Cook?
Honestly, personally, I have a feeling that this is just Dalvin Cook's agent putting in the overtime work, right?
Dalvin Cook's agent is Darren Wolfson, you think, from KSTP? No, I'm just
so look, anyway, jokes aside, I have a feeling that this is just another case of the Cowboys are being brought into every single possible discussion just because you're trying to improve your profile. So
what's the family saying in the
old as
chat?
Time. So Mike Aldana said Dalvin Cook is getting the D-Hop treatment. So except D-Hop at least had, I think, a little bit of basis in some reality. Right?
Well, he was in Dallas working out with Dez and, But
at least especially in the earlier days. So let me see.
You mean early in the offseason.
Yeah, like before we had made any... Oh, excuse me, I had a little hiccup there. Before we had made any moves or anything. So, let me see here. Rolando Rodriguez asking, real quick, MCF, you think Zeke will sign to the Raiders and then they won't pay their running back?
And then what?
Like they'll, whatever running back they have.
Oh, Jacobs? Nah. I mean, everyone knows Jacobs is much better than Zeke right now. That's not even a comparison. Zeke is not. I mean, if they did that, that'd be a waste of money from the Raiders, in my opinion. And if anything, it's going to prove that Josh Jacobs is going to be needed more so. Because Zeke will give you the 2-yard gains, the end zone runs, short yardage stuff. Outside of that, let's be honest, guys, with ourselves. I mean, he's not the Zeke he was 6-7 years ago. So, that's that. That to me. They're not going to. If they're trying to scare if they're trying to scare Josh Jacobs, that ain't going to do it, I don't think. Dalvin Cook is a little bit better, but his shoulder separation, that's also issues there. But he's still got a little more, I think, juice in the tank, gas in the tank than, let's say, Zeke does. But good question.
I'm still surprised no one's really called Zeke.
We heard the Bucks. Of course, we're like Jerry Jones was like the last-ditch effort for Zeke to get on a team would be the Cowboys if nobody else wants him. I'm sure Jerry Jones will throw him $1 million or $2 million.
Oh, Skeptical Man says Zeke will do great things in the XFL.
That's funny. I hope the best for Zeke. I don't mind him coming back if he's getting paid $1 million veteran minimum, or let's say no more than $2 million. We get that from him. I'm cool with that. As long as we just use him for short yardage, like get him that he's getting $1 million or $1.5 million or $2 million. Why is he getting that little? Because he's going to be getting only those short carries, and I'll have no problem with that for Zeke. Great pass blocking still there, pass protection. He's got the short yardage stuff. He still can catch and run. He's just not the Zeke. He's like an average guy in that sense, and a very good blocker still. Nonetheless, you're not gonna pay him $2 million so he can carry the rock 70% of the game? That's not gonna. It's Tony Pollard's gonna be the guy. So just looking from all angles. There you go. That's a little quick wrap up there of the running back situation. But we are supposedly we're looking at Dalvin Cook.
So there you go. No, I'm just saying, like we already kind of touched on most of the comments here in the chat, so we literally just touched on those comments, my love. So
we got then we got to go over to other guys who spoke today. Mike McCarthy spoke, but so Mike kind of lets a little bit of steam out, I guess. Maybe even a couple days ago, it was through The Athletic, and he said this quote. I think it kind of wraps up, kind of gets us started into the season in a real way. Micah Parsons said, quote, "You just feel it in the room. Everybody is like, this has got to be the year. I'm hoping that we go all the way." End quote. I know we said it the other day, but I want to repeat it because I do think that this is where really things get rolling with this man. Again, we know it started a couple weeks ago. There was like the walkthroughs,
yeah,
right?
But
glorified
even now,
workout.
it's just more again, getting the rookies kind of familiarized a little bit with, the facilities or whatever. Just kind of basically inviting everybody to come do some stretches and a few workouts. It was like
a glorified practice. Yeah. It was a very, I wouldn't say glorified. It was a glorified walkthrough.
I would say practices obviously are more intense than that. That's why I call it more of a workout.
It's a glorified workout, I guess you can say. For OTAs the last 2 weeks, before that rookie minicamp, and of course now, we have mandatory. Things are getting a little bit more, intense. Still no pads, no real hitting, and we'll talk about more. McCarthy kind of said some things about the way the Cowboys are planning these next 3 days, June 6th, 7th, and 8th, for this mandatory minicamp. So just want to throw that in there when it comes to Micah, the man, Micah Parsons. And then I want to kind of go through, I'll throw up here Mike McCarthy, because he is going to be the guy who's going to speak, and he spoke a lot of interesting, very important information. But NFL, I do want to say that now today, officially, today was the first day you can have a mandatory minicamp.
Okay. And
the NFL also released and announced the workout dates for all 32 teams this offseason. What I mean by that is this mandatory minicamp, June 6th, 7th, and 8th for the Cowboys. Article 22 of the collective bargaining agreement stipulates that clubs may hold one mandatory minicamp for veteran players. This minicamp, though, must occur during Phase 3 of the offseason program, which is exactly what's happening. Phase 3 already began 2 weeks ago. So, or 3 weeks ago, I think. Anyways, the point here is, guys, the schedules. Again, we're going to have this workout right now here. This at the end of June. Right now, June 13th, 14th, and 15th. After these mandatory minicamp, there's one more kind of workout. Just 3 days, 13th, 14th, and 15th of June. And then after that, it's going to go dark for a little bit, right? Until the end of July. When is the training camp dates? When are they kind of announced? They're usually announced at the end of this month. So if you guys are planning to go out there by the end of June, here sometime the 25th, the 30th,
yeah, you can
we
go
should
ahead and
know.
kind of start adjusting your schedules accordingly at that date.
Yeah, we'll know at that point what the Cowboys. Remember, the Cowboys are setting the schedule for California for Oxnard, so that's what we'll know more probably at the end of this month. In case you didn't know, like Biggie said, now you know. Now, Mike McCarthy, guys, did speak, and before I even get into McCarthy, what he said, Marcus Spears. I want to know what you think about this. Marcus Spears on I think he's on ESPN. He thinks McCarthy is, quote, under the microscope now that he's taken control of the Cowboy play calling and the Cowboy offense. He said this, quote, only thing people are going to look at is Kellen Moore was ranked in this. Kellen Moore was ranked high in that. It's not about the numbers, though. It's about how you play to win. And I can't agree more with Marcus Spears on that because to me, you might get flashier numbers on offense. With Kellen Moore's style and his, that the constant, I don't want to say constant passing, but the constant kind of developing routes and route concepts and route options.
The same kind of go.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't really see the up tempo though. It was more up tempo and like the play calls are always going to be, long developing plays that are going for big hitters and kind of making big stuff happen, but you become predictable. Anyways, I'm not here to attack Kellen Moore necessarily, but he got us enough against some bad teams, some bad defenses. The offenses he choreographed did very well against bad teams. We had high numbers, high value, like high outputs in all those games, pretty much what Kellen Moore's been coaching. But when it came to the teams that had better defenses, we struggled. Not because only of Dak or the offensive line or this or that. We struggled because the play calling was predictable. They had better defensive players, shut down Kellen Moore's offense. So I think McCarthy knows how to adjust. Like Dan Quinn on defense. On offense, McCarthy knows how to adjust. I talked about it last night. But in Green Bay, he showed this, how his adjustment abilities in Green Bay. And he's going to show, I think, a top 10 play calling mindset for this offense. So when you put that together, to me, when you see what Marcus Spears is speaking about here, when he says, they're looking at people, the haters are going to say, well, look at Kellen Moore. He had a number 1 ranked offense. And Mike McCarthy, he's got a ranked 12th offense, or something like this. But yet we're winning games. And we're winning games in a consistent fashion, in an adjustment fashion, whatever it may be. But we are making the moves behind the scenes that put us over the top. That, my friends, is the key difference, I think, when you're looking at Kellen Moore and whoever you have on offense and Mike McCarthy and whoever you have on offense. So, again, I agree. I second that there by Marcus Spears, former Cowboy, by the way. Now, McCarthy, now that he's calling the plays, let's talk about it. Today he spoke, guys, at the press conference before today's mandatory minicamp. And McCarthy said that now that he's calling plays, he's spending more time with Dak Prescott.
Okay.
He says he's hopeful that Scott Tolzien, the quarterback coach, and Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator, have worked together in the past. And he says he really likes what they've done this offseason, this spring together. So that's a good sign that things working behind the scenes. Again, who's the guy controlling everything on offense? It's Mike McCarthy. So he's overseeing that whole thing. And if that's true, all right, if this communication, play calling, all this stuff is really, if McCarthy is spending this extra time with Dak Prescott, to me, guys, that's gonna bleed into kind of like the cohesiveness of this offense. So basically, what I'm trying to say, we are one of the more nuanced pass protection teams in the league. Pass protection, right? Seeing these protections that Dak sets up pre-snap is one of the things people really don't even talk too much about Dak Prescott. I think when you combine it together with McCarthy, Dak working now a lot closer, a lot more together, they're going to be on the same page a lot better. Even if Dak was on the same page with Kellen Moore, it doesn't matter because the plays are going to be different. But I think now with Mike McCarthy, they're going to be closer, and their plays will be whatever the plays are going to be, is good or bad, they'll be on the same page, and that's what we need to see. So that's good to hear from behind the scenes. That's from Mike McCarthy himself. Now, Mike McCarthy also spoke about the running backs, Tony Pollard and the rest of the running back room. He said, quote, that's a cool room. They all see the opportunity ahead of them. And then, he was asked, if they're taking this first year, well, let me put it this way. He kind of mentioned that these running backs are taking this first year approach to the running back room. He says again, he kind of interesting about the running game. He said that outside zone runs are going to be different than before. He said the technique and nuance will be different. Another thing to keep watching for, guys, when it comes to the new offense we're seeing from McCarthy, to differences on that outside running zone blocking there. So Cowboy coach McCarthy also said from the running backs and pass protection is going to be very important, more important than in previous years. You got a running back coach, no more Skip Pete, he's in Tampa. New running back coach Jeff Blasco has O-line coaching background, big-time O-line background. Pollard, again, has, according to McCarthy, quote, done an outstanding job in a leadership role. Remember, guys, he's the old guy now. And he said, I really like the young guys as well in the running back room. And again, when it comes to McCarthy and Pollard, McCarthy said that they're still planning on being really smart with Tony Pollard when it comes to practice. So we're going to talk about that today here as well, but he's going to be very cautious, very smart. Last week, Pollard said he was ahead of schedule and the cutting and work. Again, we even saw him on the OTAs a couple of times last week for like 20 minutes, and he came out and went and did some rehab stuff. According to McCarthy, because they're going to keep him on a more of a limited role in these mini camp practices and these workouts, he said basically by the time we get to training camp, there'll be no limitations and he'll be ready to go full out at training camp for Tony Pollard. So that's obviously great news there when it comes to our starting running back. I do want to say one thing though, baby, that it was interesting when it comes to what McCarthy said about pass protection. McCarthy, said he's asking in this press conference. He said he's asking for more from the running backs in pass protection. So we, that Zeke quality. Does Pollard have that quality to be able to block, like pass protect? To protect the quarterback as a running back when you're throwing that ball, right, in pass protection. And a lot of people, again, I've talked about this actually in the past, and we know that Pollard actually is the second high. I think he was the second highest ranked blocking running back in the NFL last year. If you look at these two players, how did the Cowboy running backs rank as far as percentage of snaps in pass blocking? Zeke had 15.3% of his snaps pass blocking snaps. Tony Pollard had a 17.8 percentage. He actually played more in the past.
Kind of surprising. Like, I would have never guessed that. But one thing that you did see this past year, I think Tony Pollard, on a personal level, his blocking improved, like, leaps and bounds this past season. So, at least in that sense, maybe it was just one of those things that, obviously, the Cowboys didn't intend it. But once they went out there, saw how well Pollard was doing, and, of course, Kellen Moore just can't help himself sometimes. But the point is that, I'm surprised in a general sense, but when you stop and kind of think about it, you're like, oh, no, that kind of actually does make sense.
And actually, also remember this. Zeke got hurt, missed a bunch of games, 3-4 games, so who took all the snaps there? That really took Pollard, I think, into the more pass protection. Level, yeah. He had to play more of a full role, and he did a damn good job because, baby, even though he played almost 3% more than Zeke as a pass blocker last year and as a running back in pass protection, when you look at it where they were ranked according to PFF and the quality of blocks they provided, Zeke was ranked 23rd. I want to say this. Zeke was 43rd in the NFL with the number of, as a running back, with the number of pass protection snaps. And Pollard was ranked 28th. So neither guy really was used too much in pass protection. But when they were used in pass protection and Zeke was used 3%, a little less than 3% more, 3% less, Zeke was ranked 23rd in efficiency. Pollard ranked 4th. 4th in the NFL in pass blocking efficiency. And that is what's more important, I think, than even the number of snaps he's doing. In fact, that he's very efficient. And again, it looks like he's almost 20 spots better. If you look at these rankings as a guide, almost 20 players better as a running back in pass protection than Zeke. And he's 4th in the NFL if you look at these numbers. So Pollard is not a drop-off when it comes to pass blocking at running back. Now, other things that were spoken about today, and this is pretty important. We're going to talk about it much more in the practice, but or maybe not. Maybe we'll talk about it now. But Trayvon Diggs, where is he at? We didn't see him in the OTAs the last 2 weeks. Is he going to practice now? Look, all we know is this. We talked about this yesterday and a couple days ago. When you look at the cornerback duos in the NFL, we talked about this. We have two guys ranked in the PFF board in the top 10 in the NFL. In the NFC, we have two guys ranked, I think, in the top 4 or 5 in the NFC. When you look at the duos out there, right now PFF ranks the Jets, Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed as number 1. Number 2, Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard from the Miami Dolphins. And third, our guys here, Trayvon Diggs and, of course, Stephon Gilmore. Right? So both these guys right now are ranked as a duo, 3rd place in the NFL per PFF. The Eagles, they're 4th. in this list. Darius Slay and James Bradbury, 5th. The Buccaneers, Jameel Dean and Carlton Davis, and on and on. We don't care about the rest. But the point here is, number one, the NFC East is the only division in the NFC, the whole conference, with 4 of the top 10 cornerbacks graded out by PFF for this year. So again, Bradbury got 10th. I think Darius Slay was 1st in this list, and I think Stephon Diggs was. Stephon Gilmore was 2nd, and I think Trayvon Diggs was 4th on this list. So I'm just saying, like in the NFC East, out of 4 teams, out of 8, cornerbacks, half of them were ranked in the top 10. The NFC East, we got the whole NFC East in a general sense. Eagles and Cowboys. We have lockdown corners in this NFC East. So keep that in mind. But again, like I said, I think we are definitely top 3, top 2, maybe even top 1 cornerback duo in the NFL. We'll see what happens. But Diggs was expected back for the mandatory minicamp today, and we'll check on that in a little bit. There, that's a quick little Diggs point there. Now, McCarthy also spoke about Luke Schoonmaker. Now we know we got an issue with his ankle, right, with his foot. Don't know exactly what's going on with it yet, but we have a little more information today on this. But Luke Schoonmaker, rookie 2nd-round pick, McCarthy said he is, quote, good, dealing with this plantar fasciitis issue. Now, the reason I'm changing it now because it was inflammation of his foot, which if you look at the definition of plantar fasciitis, that's exactly what it is. They were not using the terminology until today. McCarthy did say Schoonmaker, again, 25 years old. He's a rookie. We think that we should have picked Osiris Torrance over him, an offensive guard, left guard, and now he's injured to kick off not even the season yet. So to me, that is concerning. Of course, McCarthy said this, quote, "We're just being smart with him and with other players that are missing practice right now." But McCarthy, the whole front office, the whole expectation is no worries, and he's going to be ready for training camp. He better be. So that's one guy, another guy with injuries. We're going to talk about other guys during the practice that had injuries and see how they're doing. But one of these guys, you got to look at his Terrence Steele here on the right side of your screen of the 3 guys. Terrence Steele, his knee issue, according to McCarthy, might cost him the start of training camp. Which I know some people are surprised about that. Of course, I'm not, because I've been saying he might not even play week 1 yet. We don't know. We don't know if he's going to play week 1. Some people say he'll be good. You don't know.
And again, of course, the not knowing has led to even more speculation. But now that we have, I think, a better idea of the direction it seems like he's leaning, right? Not exactly the news we were hoping for necessarily. So, sorry, I thought you were going to keep going there. No. So, real quick. By the way, shout out to everybody here. Make sure to take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You guys can follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily. So, it's hard for me, Nate, to pick a favorite war movie, by the way. Probably Saving Private Ryan. So.
That's a great one. Platoon. You got Full Metal Jacket. I mean, come on. You got Apocalypse Now. I'll keep going.
So many good ones.
So a lot of great ones. So let's get back to this war on the field here. So Terrence Steele, just wanted to say, this is a kind of an interesting, a concerning issue. But Terrence Steele with his knee issues, according to McCarthy, start of camp up in the air. So Terrence Steele, I'm going to say, don't expect him to be out there in the field in training camp. Stephen Jones also said that Jordan Lewis, again, this was yesterday, he said this, Stephen Jones, that Jordan Lewis is going to, with that foot issue, of course, from last year, it's going to probably open camp up on the physically unable to perform list, the PUP list, the PUP list. So just some updates there from McCarthy regarding offensive line, regarding, Jordan Lewis and other players. Again, we'll talk about some injuries that we saw or some guys that were there or not there for today's practice in a moment. But I do want to say McCarthy was also speaking of injuries. To avoid injuries, he's taking things a lot lighter in these OTAs and in this particular mandatory minicamp. He said that the Cowboys are not going to go. They're not going to do 2-minute drills. They're not going to do a lot of 11-on-11 work this week. And he did this. He came up with this after revisiting with the staff and coming to this thought process. No 11-on-11. Why? McCarthy says that they are, quote, too aggressive. Too aggressive when they practice, and that should, I think that's a good reason because McCarthy keeps reminding us that he's been fined.
Drunk frat boys, no offense.
He's been fined the last 2 years at this stage. It wasn't at OTAs. It was right here at mandatory minicamp is where he's been fined the last 2 seasons We've lost days of practice because of this. So he believes that if he lets us go the way he would like it to go, like the last 2 years, he believes that they'll probably lose he'll be fined another $200,000 this time, and he'll lose another practice next season for the Cowboys. So he didn't want to go for 3 in a row. Is why it's a lot less contact, a lot less aggressive in this practice. So now 2 or 3 last things from McCarthy. Mm-hmm. McCarthy said that right tackle Terrence Steele might not be ready to start for training camp. I don't know why I jumped around here, but he said basically we'll have to see when we get to Oxnard when it comes to Terrence Steele. Remember, guys, December he had surgery, Terrence Steele, on the tears to the ACL, MCL, and the MPFL. He tore 3 ligaments in his knee. And I keep telling people, it's just every ligament tear, it's just another, it's going to make everything just a little bit longer. So
yeah, his comments from the other day really let you know just how bad it was, because he basically said that his doctors had never seen such a severe version of the type of injury he had, right?
I think that was Jordan Lewis. You got the wrong one there.
Good point. Wrong injury.
Yeah, baby. But try to look. Terrence Steele, he is right now. To me, Terrence. That was again. Let's not get that confused. But
no, I agree.
Terrence Steele, the three tears in his knee. People just kind of only talk about the MCL tear, the ACL tear. You got all 3 of these.
You got
here.
all the L tears.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. You got like 3 tears here. You're gonna have to really, I think curtail expectations of him starting week 1 at right tackle. I think it's safer to say I'm not sure yet rather than say he'll definitely be ready. I hear some people saying he'll definitely be ready, Terrence Steele. McCarthy's telling you he's not gonna be ready for training camp. If they're telling you that with reservations, they're probably hiding some more. It's going to be tough for him to start week 1, in my humble opinion. If you tell me to bet on it, I say he ain't starting week 1, Terrence Steele.
I am just holding out hope based on the way that the Cowboys are handling this, that, yeah, he might not be available for training camp. You're right. He probably won't be ready for week 1. But let's hope by week, 4, we're having a different discussion.
Oh, yeah, it reminds me a little bit of that Gallup-like kind of situation. The only difference is, like Terrence Steele's injury happened about a month before Gallup's did.
I was just about to say, we can't take and Zarlip B.
Hey, I love that name.
Thank you for summing it up. Appreciate you.
Part of the family here on
That's
MCL.
Right.
Appreciate you. Now, so yeah, I think the month difference from the Terrence Steele injury and the Gallup injury, last year, of course, that difference, it would put him at perfectly starting probably week 1 if everything goes great. But I'm not going to hold my breath about that. I'd rather just plan for him not being there than expecting him to be there. I'd rather be surprised he's there. So, again, something to watch. Now, what does that mean for the offensive line? Because it was a big deal today at practice. And if you watch the video earlier, you'll know what I'm talking about. But the Cowboys are making this O-line switch today. This is the one we've been talking about, baby. This is the one we've been talking about for a long time. Mike McCarthy today said that Tyron Smith was going to flip from right tackle to left tackle. And Tyler Smith, who's played left tackle, is shifting over to left guard, which, of course, is something that we've been talking about for a while. The question is, who's going to be the right tackle? We know Terrence Steele. You can say Terrence Steele, but not maybe week 4, week 3. I don't know. Who's going to be the right tackle in the meantime? We don't know yet. We don't have an answer. But McCarthy kind of threw around some names.
I was just about to say, we can make an educated guess.
Obviously. Well, we had some ideas, of course, Ball and Bland and other guys. Not Bland, but Waletzko and others out there. But McCarthy specifically mentioned the fact that Matt Waletzko will be the guy working at right tackle. I've been saying Matt Waletzko is the better of the bunch when it comes to the tackle position. I think he's the future of a swing tackle at the very least, maybe more. I don't know. But that's the goal right now, in my opinion, is if when Terrence Steele gets back and if Tyron Smith's still playing, that's our swing tackle is Waletzko in the meantime, right? And so I think he's like and if for some reason, we move Tyler Smith to left tackle and move Tyron Smith back to his the bench, let's say, he's our swing tackle, Tyron Smith. But we got to have 2 swing tackles at best. One guy on the up, coming up in the world here when it comes to being a rookie last year, got injured pretty much right away, but he should be good to go going forward. And then you got the guy on the backside of his career, right, and Tyron Smith, who we only, don't expect him to make a whole season, obviously, but I do expect him to be able to play 3, 4, or more games. And if he's a backup role, that would be beneficial. Right now, we have no guard really, except for Tyler Smith. So Tyron Smith's gonna have to play that left tackle. And let's go right now playing right tackle. When Terrence Steele comes in, he'll be taking over that spot. But I think they're going to warm him up and see how much he can handle at right tackle to see if maybe they can kind of not rush Terrence Steele back and not worry about that left guard spot. I don't know. Just my thoughts with this front office. You know how they do. So we'll see what happens. But the ideal starting 5 in Mike McCarthy's eyes and the whole organization, really the whole Cowboy Nation, the top 5 guys would be Tyron Smith at left tackle, Tyler Smith at right tackle, Tyler Biadasz at center, Zach Martin, who has not really played in these practices, he will be, of course, good to go at right guard. And then when he gets back, whether it's week 1 or week 4, Terrence Steele, the right tackle. So those are the 5 that the Cowboys are trying to shoot for when it's the cohesiveness of a full season and everyone's healthy. We hope, knock on wood. So, just some breakdowns from McCarthy. He finished it up with some defensive talk here, baby. And I know you have a more in-depth context quote from him, but I'm going to say this. McCarthy spoke on a couple of guys. To me, it was crazy because today in practice, these 2 guys, they showed out. Now, first off, McCarthy said that rookie cornerback, Eric Scott Jr. Again, guys, remember, I'll remind everybody, he's the guy we traded up for in the 6th round to get. Eric Scott Jr. has been one of the most impressive rookies and has earned first-team reps. Eric, the guy we doubted, the guy we said, Dan Quinn, this is another one here, Nashawn Wright. Well, as of right now, very early, he's looking like he did so well that he's earning first-team reps. When Stephon Gilmore was out. He was out last week. He was just getting some rest, some veteran rest. So when he was out, they said, well, let's throw in there the young guy here, Eric Scott Jr. And he looked good out there, guys, not just in the past couple of days or weeks, but today. And I'll get to that later on in this thing. So you remember, guys, here's the biggest point to me in this thing with Eric Scott Jr. taking over in that cornerback outside cornerback role. It's really interesting to me because when you look at a 6th round rookie, a 6th round pick that's a rookie, and he's getting reps over Kelvin Joseph. That is what I think is a detriment to KJ, to Kelvin Joseph, and where he's at. Because again,
I mean, I hate to say that he kind of did it to himself, but I do think it's kind of a double-sided, not issue, but reason behind it, right? Once again, we do a great job acquiring talent here. The fact that we have a rookie that can compete with him is pretty impressive.
I guess you could say that. To me,
but it's also sad that we have Kelvin Joseph in a situation where, again, a rookie is competing with him.
A rookie is competing him, and a rookie is beating him out in some ways. I guess you could say.
It's a good thing on one hand, and it's not a great thing.
I do think I will say one more thing about Kelvin Joseph. The fact that he's playing more the slot nickel cornerback is maybe why he's not getting that outside shot as much as somebody who's more of an outside guy. More of a obviously right now he's more of an outside guy. He's Eric Scott Jr., the rookie. So he seems to be doing better out there, and Kelvin Joseph seems to be doing better in the slot, in the corner. So the last guy, again, he had a great day in practice, Eric Scott. I want to talk about him in a little bit here when we talk about the practice day. We got one more guy that Mike McCarthy spoke about in detail, and that was Jabril Cox. 2nd season being removed from his knee injury and the surgery. He had a great day today, too, Jabril Cox. But I'll get to that in a minute, baby. What did McCarthy... This is pre-practice, so we didn't... This wasn't after practice and they asked them. This was before practice, and both these guys showed out on that field in these mandatory minicamps in day 1. So what did McCarthy say about Jabril Cox, baby?
He said, quote, "When you have players that have a major injury, that first year back, there's the first time getting through a number of thresholds that they need to get over. I can only tell you based off what I see. I do feel like he's back. He's had a really good off-season program, and obviously there's more competition there too. Major point injuries take time. I think you see it each year. They never really totally come back clean immediately. It's usually the 2nd year where they really feel back to normal."
That is very interesting.
I was going to say, specifically in this context as well, I can understand why it might take a little bit longer to adjust.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's interesting to hear him say this, because whenever McCarthy speaks on one of our players, this has happened with Terrence Steele a couple years ago, he was like, what leaps and bounds he's made? And we're like, yeah, sure. And he did that, right? You saw the same thing happen with, at least we don't know if it's happened yet, but he said this about Jalen Tolbert. He said this about Sam Williams last week. And now he's saying this about guys like Jabril Cox and Eric Scott. And both these guys did exactly what he just said. Great days for them in practice. And he's saying all these, Sam Williams, Jalen Tolbert, Eric Scott, and Jabril Cox, they're jumping off the page a little bit, off the screen. He's not lying to us. This has been a pattern from McCarthy being honest about this kind of stuff. Brandon James Shea being honest here, dropping that $1 holler here on the board Much love,
Thank
Brandon
you, Brandon
James.
I appreciate you, of course. Much love.
I think he fell off the Navy Blue crew right there, so maybe he'll jump back into that. Much love to Brandon James. What did he say, baby, with that $1?
He said, "Go Cowboys."
Yeah.
Thank you again, Brandon. Appreciate you. And let me just double check, because I think I did get through the whole McCarthy quote. Yes,
Yeah,
I did.
you got
Just
it.
making sure.
So, I mean, I really liked that not only they're performing like this, but what McCarthy is saying seems pretty accurate in the past and in recent days.
Yeah, he
in
tends to
recent
have
weeks.
a good eye for those players that are making those types of jumps. And right
Agreed.
now, for him to point out 2 or 3 players that,
It's important. They might not all do jump off the screen, but 1 or 2 might just be exactly what he's saying.
again, the potential is there.
For sure. So there's a McCarthy quotes for the day. Now, of course, Jerry Jones had to go take front and center here as the practice ended today. Again, let me just say this. When it comes to the practice mandatory minicamp, and I can put it up on the screen, but you'll see it at the end of the reel. If you haven't watched it yet, you can watch it after the stream. But the first practice ended. Jerry Jones was on the field catching up with Errol Spence Jr., the boxer. He was at Cowboys practice today, guys. He's walking around there. This is before his fight with Terrence Crawford, which is going to be on July 29th. Of course, at AT&T Stadium, I think. So I'm not sure if it's at AT&T Stadium, but I'm not sure if it's there. I'm joking. I don't know if it's there, but I do know that he's involved here, and Showtime's involved with this too. Errol Spence and the Showtime film crew are walking around with him around the Cowboys minicamp. So if you see any kind of if you're watching the Errol Spence fight, you're going to see some Cowboy practices, or at least one Cowboy practice in the background going on. Now, he did meet with Jerry Jones afterwards, and he joked around with Jerry, saying about how he played cornerback and he played safety back in his high school days, and he said that he could help the Cowboys if Jerry Jones wants to. Jerry Jones said, well, we may have a spot for him at kicker. There you go. The Jerry Jones.
Not exactly what he had in mind there, but sure.
Yeah, there you go. He was saying he's playing cornerback and he played safety, but Jerry's like, we need a kicker. Sorry, Tristan Vizcaino. How did he do in this practice, Tristan? We'll talk about that as well. But it wasn't just Jerry. It was also, Micah after the practice came on the field signing boxing gloves. Or they're signing each other's stuff. Dak Prescott taking pictures with him. CeeDee Lamb with the golden bandana today. You'll see him in the pictures. Cowboys' own hometown champ. He's a hometown guy here. He's, came to visit Errol Spence. And, again, the perfect combination of the Jerry Jonesism that he wants to have for everyone to see at the same time. Also, he's that businessman. He's gonna use that star to attract everyone to us. So that's what he does. Now, hometown, guy, and I'm assuming he's a Cowboy fan. Errol Spence, go make sure you beat the hell out of who's that? Terrell Johnson, whoever he is, beat him. Now, anyways, I love
that. Whoever he is, beat him.
Yeah, I'm not into the boxing as much as I used to be. Now, I want to say this. Practice started up, and I'll put the video up on the screen here in a minute, but I do want to go through some injuries first. Some actual more information about injuries. Now, there's no practice reports, but I got a little practice report of my own. First and foremost, maybe some guys that are back, some guys that are gone. Veteran defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins. All right, big Hank. He was not there at all for the OTAs. He was just veteran days, just resting him. But he was there for this first day of mandatory minicamp, and he played. They actually had him in the game, or in the practice. He was in the goal line packages. So we get to see some packages here with Hankins in the goal line with Mozzie Smith, the rookie. That's what I like to see, guys. So, again, Mozzie Smith, Quentin Bohanna, and Jonathan Hankins today, all of them were taking – I got to take Jerry Jones off here. All of them were taking reps with the goal line when they had 2 defensive tackles in there, big guys. It's good to see the Dan Quinn influence already. Now, other guys that whether they're injured or didn't show up, could it be for, reasons of, contract disputes? I don't know. But Trayvon Diggs was back on the field today officially. You'll see some photos of him. Stephon Gilmore, who missed last week, was back on the field as well. Let me throw him up there for you guys. Stephon Gilmore, of course, number 21. DeMarcus Lawrence also back. He wasn't at any practice. He was getting those rest days or whatever. You also had Dante Fowler was taking some rest days. He also is back at this mini camp. Those guys were back at practice. Some guys still gone or rehabbing. Terrence Steele, Jordan Lewis, Tony Pollard, Nashawn Wright, and Zach Martin. And Zach Martin, guys, he's had been dealing with a minor soft tissue injury pretty much this entire offseason. Nothing serious, he said, but it has kept him out of the OTAs and minicamp so far. He's missed this one today as well. He's excited, though, to be ready for the starter training camp. What do you have to say, baby? First, we got to shout out Aztec. Much love to him.
Thank you, Aztec.
On the other side of the globe, dropping that Australian $2 holler. What did the man say?
Ooh, I'm guessing it's an Australian. Go Cowboys. So thank you so much, Aztec. Appreciate you, of course.
Much love.
And yes, you see a nice little lemony high five there. So thank you. Appreciate that.
Lemon love. Appreciate you, Aztec. We differ on most things, but Cowboys. I know I think he's a Niner fan. Is he you a Cowboy fan, Aztec? I think he's a Niner fan. I don't know. He's always trolling, but we love him here. We got the convos going on post streams. So much love, Aztec. Appreciate you. Actually, I'm gonna throw up on that board. Maybe hit up the chat if real quick a comment or two.
So Aztec Aguilar 04 said, "Put me in a corner, Jerry. Nah, we need a kicker." That's when Spencer Jr. gave Jones the old uppercut.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to play no goddamn kicker. And Jerry, I can see Jerry Jones going for the cheapest kicker possible. So I will say this. Bones, John Fossil, our special teams coordinator, he did say everyone's in play here. Everyone in the world is in play. So I guess Errol Spence could get that.
So let me see here. Cameron said we need Martin game 1.
Zach Martin, he'll be here. He'll be good. Zach is good for training camp. He'll be all right. Don't worry. We'll be good with Zach Martin.
So, let me see here. House Nelson said, I love to hear it. It's when they seem to develop right when they're ready to get a new deal.
That's the trick. It's sometimes these guys take 3 or 4 years.
The same way that every free agent somehow is always coming to the Cowboys, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, cracking me up here. So, anyway, no, it's all good.
Yeah, let's rock it back here to Zach Martin. Because Zach Martin did speak on the fact that, he's expected to be ready for training camp. But he had this soft tissue injury that's not serious, but kept him out of all the practices. What did Zach Martin have to say, baby?
Quote, I'm fine. They're just being smart, making sure I get back to training camp feeling ready to rock. So, yeah, literally all he said as far as the injury specifically. But again, the major thing to remember here is, again, soft tissue. So he will be fine. All he needs is some rest and relaxation, which the Cowboys are at least clearly giving him.
Yeah, that's very important. Now, he also Zach Martin also spoke on Mike McCarthy's coaching. I thought that was interesting. What did old Big Zach have to say about Mike McCarthy's, kind of play calling on the offensive side of things?
He said, quote, it's been good having Mike in there, and I think he's going to bring an edge to our offense. I think the communications and little details that we've added this year will allow everyone to be on the same page.
Just good stuff, I guess you can say. Still, it sounds good, at least, coming from the play calling side. Everything, all signs point to we're still rolling. I think we're okay. Dak likes it. The offensive line likes it. I think we're all right now. We're ready to rock. That's what I'm looking at. So, anyways, that was the Zach Martin kind of injury. We got a little update on that. Now, we also got to look at, I would say, a final injury check here on Mr. Boot. The janitor? Is that what Skeptical calls him?
Yeah, that's a little nickname that Schoonmaker has earned around
our second round pick, of course, this draft. We had Osiris Torrance, left guard, sitting right there, but the Cowboys went away. And, he was taken like right after us. I think the next pick or two, Osiris Torrance was taken. So Luke Schoonmaker was the guy the Cowboys decided to grab, and he's 25 years old, 25-year-old rookie, so he's an old rookie. And he had that foot issue. We saw the boot last week. Now we heard McCarthy before this practice talk about plantar fasciitis. The Cowboys have been managing this plantar fasciitis issue for tight end Luke Schoonmaker this spring. So their main thing of managing it is not doing too much with this at all with this second round rookie pick here. He was not in the protective boot though. And actually, I'll just start throwing it up on the screen here because you'll see him without the boot in our video. And it's important to note that, is he ready to go? Is he full blast back? No, not at all. Not even close. But is he able to participate in some of the drills today and some of the other things that we did on the field? Well, not on the field, but on the sideline. He was out there and being active. He was not in a protective boot, but he still stayed engaged. He was not doing the reps. He was watching the reps. And he did a lot of ball security stuff on the sideline with tight end coach Lunda Wells. But all signs point from him, from the coaches, from everybody, all signs are saying easily will be back on track for training camp and ready to go.
So, which again, positive direction, but I don't appreciate that little kind of bait and switch the Cowboys tried to do with the whole plantar fasciitis situation. That's a little frustrating just because, again, if there was something going on, they could have just said it from the jump instead of, again, basically trying to lie their way out of it, it feels like. Regardless of whatever their original intentions might have been, that's the only way I can take it now. It
feels, and I'm going to throw the video up on here, it just feels to me.
Show us the janitor.
Yeah, the janitor, Schoonmaker. That's what his name means. But again, you look at his mandatory minicamp. This is the first look video we have up already. And you'll see some of the things we just discussed and talked about here, putting up on your screen. But Schoonmaker, the reason why the Cowboys are trying to hide that is because you don't want to have your second round pick that you're already getting criticized on. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. All right, just want to make sure I fixed that in the background. There we go. Okay, Skeptical Fan dropping that 5 on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, $5 holler. What does Skeptical Fan have to say, baby?
He said, do all NFL teams know every rookie's medical before drafting them?
They have access to that, yeah.
I was just saying, if I'm not mistaken, every team has access to the same information. If every single team accesses it, is a different story from my understanding. Like, in the sense I agree, of, like, not all 32 teams have Schoonmaker's, like, medical report.
If they asked for it, right. But obviously the Cowboys did. Or they'd be stupid. That'd be malpractice if they did not, like, check his background injury wise. But it's I don't know if is this a background issue that came up, or is this an issue that was unexpected? Because to me, the Cowboys are trying to hide this second round pick. You get criticized for not taking a guard, and now he's walking around not limping around, but in a boot, not even playing yet. A snap for the Cowboys. They didn't even earn his star, and he's our second round pick. He's we had a guard that we have a need for out there floating right there in front of us who's not injured. What happened there? I think that's the heat you see McCarthy, Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones. They're going to be taking heat on this for a while. So, just has to be dealt with, right? But yeah, that's a great question by Skeptical Fan. By the way, still in first place on the overall board, and Marco Seppian down to 40 points. Man, he's had that stream boss for about, I think, 12 out of 13 weeks locked down. So he's back on a new streak here. But he's down to 40 points. Not seen very often by the Mark Hovsepian stream boss situation there. But much love, Skeptical Fan, Aztec, Brandon James Shea, everybody else, Dwayne Broussard. Appreciate everybody here in the house. And Skeptical Fan, by the way, leading the board right now. On the overall board, he's also leading the board on the gifting memberships right now. And I forgot to mention this earlier, baby. Him, star level members, Skeptical Fan, Lincoln Kane, Dwayne Broussard.
And Mary
Alvarez. Much love. Hey, there's CeeDee Lamb with the golden bandana. Maybe it made it easier for Dak to see him when he was throwing the ball. But Dak ended the first team 2-minute work in 7-on-7. In 7-on-7s, he ended it, baby, with a strike. I mean, a bullet. To Jake Ferguson, tight end. And we have to see, again, we just talked about Schoonmaker, a little shaky there. But Jake Ferguson making a touchdown grab in the corner. Great job from him. And you know who was covering him? Donovan Wilson. Very, very close in coverage with him. So he was doing great coverage there. It was just a great pass by Dak Prescott. And he hit, Jake Ferguson, the tight end, for the touchdown. I think he also hit a Hendershot a little later for a touchdown as well, Dak Prescott. In his red zone work, Dak found CeeDee Lamb for a touchdown. And CeeDee, though, they say he maybe had a toe out of bounds. So, it's not real game stuff here, but it's practice. And CeeDee Lamb was probably out of bounds a little bit, but a great pass by Dak again. Now, the whole day, you want to see some points about the receivers. CeeDee Lamb, smooth reps in the red zone with the touchdown, and he was covered by Trayvon Diggs, who, by the way, you see him right there. You saw him in the last photo there against CeeDee Lamb. He was matched up against CeeDee Lamb multiple times, and got beat by CeeDee Lamb in the end zone on red zone work. But I'll talk about Diggs in a little bit. CeeDee Lamb and CeeDee Lamb and Stephon Gilmore also matched up, and they said it was a lot of they were matched up in a drill. It was early practice hands drill between both these guys. They both are just monsters at trying to win. They're trying to compete and trying to do great. And CeeDee Lamb looked great out there, but so did Gilmore and so did Diggs. So I just want to make sure I get that clear. Now, receiver wise. Jalen Brooks I know. Who's he? No, he's a rookie, 7th round pick. He had the catch of the day. It was on 7-on-7s, 2-minute drill. He worked a seam route down the left side of the field, built separation, dove, laid out for a very nice, fantastic diving catch, landed him inside the 5-yard line. So Jalen Brooks, can he block? Can he do the special teams thing? He's showing out right now with some nice plays. So Jalen Brooks, keep an eye on him. Cowboys also set up an end-of-the-game 2-minute drill. They weren't going to do this, but they did it just to end practice. End-of-game 2-minute drill near the end of practice. Oh, I'll stop right there because the man staying skeptical just dropped a gift once again, and Scorpio is back in it. Scorpio, much love. Skeptical fan, much, much love. Another, I'll say a 5 on it, but this one's a membership 5.
Yes, it is.
Gifted.
And thank you, Skeptical fan.
Yes.
I just realized, I'm like, can't really say go Cowboys in that way, but always go Cowboys.
Always, no,
in all the ways.
Hell yeah,
so,
always. It's always go Cowboys.
More in the direct response type of thing.
Yeah, well, it's a go Cowboys no matter what.
Yeah,
but yes,
Ronaldo Rodriguez. It's from a variety of places, just because obviously things kind of trickle in from a bunch of different official sources or sites, or honestly nowadays, just direct reporters that are like there and commenting or reporting or sharing obviously some things there. And every once in a while we obviously are lucky enough to provide our own footage because, well, we got to be there, right?
Yeah,
like
actually,
a few times we've gone out to games or
you'll see some of those, some of the Pro Bowls, but you see some drops of love coming through. You'll see like Skeptical, not these gifted ones. When you see a regular drop go through any drop, that's from our game we went to. Yeah, Dak getting in the end zone against the Atlanta Falcons and Big D. So anyways, that's, again, we're going to back in this first look here because I know this is going to keep looping. But I just wanted to make a mention here about CeeDee Lamb looking really good out there. And, again, going to a rookie like Jalen Brooks, fantastic that he's showing out. Again, this kid got keep it with a grain of sand here. And it's not.
Yeah, take that heavily salted, but still.
Yeah, it's not going to be a major. It's not going to do or die for anybody. Let me put it that way, all right? But it is good to keep track of these things, and good to see Jalen Brooks showing out there and playing pretty well. Now, another guy, I'm going to say this, when it comes to receivers, baby, that had a great day, but I'll go to a couple other guys first. Cowboys set up this end of the practice 2-minute drill, and for the first handful of reps, Dak Prescott directed traffic with only young receivers in the game. Only young receivers. Jalen Tolbert, Kavontae Turpin, Simi Fehoko. It's a good way to stress test your alignments using lesser receivers, younger guys. And that was the drive that led to Jake Ferguson's touchdown that I talked about earlier.
So, again, that's 2 for 2 as far as, hopefully, I'm assuming, seeing the things that you wanted to see in this regard.
Well, the most you can see is this. It looks good.
That's what I'm saying. I know it's not much. I know it's something small, but, we are always happy to see it. And especially, like you said, so many of these, like, young, up-and-coming guys having their moment here.
Yeah, it's great to see. And, again, Tolbert, I want to pick him out of this group, too. In fact, I'm even going to put up a little photo of him here, guys. And you can't see him right now. Let me do this here. Let me make sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
So,
here we go.
And Skeptical fan, thank you again.
There he is. Tolbert. Skeptical, much love. Of course, the gifting champion here so far this month. Last month he has that. But just real quick, Jalen Tolbert, baby. He was in this group of guys, these young guys, kind of the leader of this group, but he was playing a lot faster today than he has in the past. He's thinking less. Tolbert. And he's able to handle what is being asked of him now at all 3 receiver spots, which is something he could not handle last year. They gave him too much on his plate last year, right? So, again, he caught multiple touchdowns. Jalen Tolbert caught multiple touchdowns today, guys. Mainly in the red zone 7-on-7 period as well there. So again, playing all the receiver positions, doing great in the red zone, making touchdown catches. That's what we want to see from Jalen Tolbert. And he's been having a couple good times. We've seen him do well out there a couple of times already. Heard about this, seen it. McCarthy's spoken about him being one of the guys that jump out at him as having a big jump from year 1 to year 2. Let's hope it stays that way. I hope so. Tolbert, keep doing what you're doing, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. And it should be working perfectly. So, again, I'm loving those numbers there, those things when we're seeing our receiving groups here, receiving core, everyone looking good. Now people are saying we look deep at receiver. I mean, I don't know about that. But now, what was talked about earlier, baby, in today's discussion when it came to Mike McCarthy and our offensive line? The movement going on, right?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, he really only touched on, I think you mentioned the right tackle position as far as like anyone that he mentioned with any kind of specificity or anything. Well, he didn't actually hinted at.
That's actually the opposite. He actually didn't mention much about the right tackle. He said he was going to move Tyron Smith to left tackle and move Tyler Smith to left guard, and that's exactly what we saw today. So when I mentioned this here, baby, previously worked at left tackle, that was Tyler Smith. Tyron Smith is a right tackle. That's the way it was, and now they've switched over now. As we knew McCarthy had mentioned this, now it's actually happening. So these three guys, now Terrence Steele, we know he's injured, but I'm talking about the other two guys, the Smiths here, Tyler Smith 73 and Tyron Smith 77. They're playing both on the left side today. So that's kind of what we've been talking about for a long time, expecting to see. We finally, again, McCarthy spoke about it before the practice. Yeah. We actually saw it. In the practice, you can see it in the actual video. When it's the beginning portions of it, you'll see Tyron Smith at left tackle, Tyler Smith, number 73, at left guard. So that's good to see. Now, back, you can see the pictures here. That's great. But let's go back to some other things going on. Good. With the offensive line stuff, we kind of figured. Oh, by the way, baby, I also want to say the other rotations in there on the offensive line. Matt Waletzko was playing the right tackle spot, which was McCarthy kind of said, and he also played the left guard spot today when they did some movements, and when they probably put Tyler Smith at left tackle at some stuff.
Good to know.
Well, we knew this already. We knew he was there already from last week when he was moved to the left guard spot, and we actually saw him on footage on there on the left guard. But now he's doing a lot more right tackle stuff, and in lieu of not just Terrence Steele, but of course Tyron Smith, who's back at left tackle. But he also, when they moved some of the lineups around, he got the other spot he's been playing is left guard. They're trying to work him there. I'm hearing, again, I think he's the front runner across the board on any of these spots.
That's more than just, hey, let's put you here for a few snaps and see how you do type of situation. It seems like this might be part of the plan moving forward type of thing.
Yeah, it's been, again, they kicked this off last week with this plan, and they're still keeping to it with Waletzko. Now, Josh Ball still working at the Zach Martin spot. Remember, Zach Martin hasn't played at all. So who's the right guard the last 3 weeks has been Josh Ball. He's fighting for anything on this team. And then you look at a guy like Chuma Edoga, a guy we brought in this offseason from the Jets. He's a left tackle. He played left tackle today, and he also played some left guard. So, again, another guy we talked about here, I have a video on him. Playing left guard might be the spot for Edoga. Can he be a starter? I don't know. We'll see. But either way, all those guys are kind of that's our depth. Oh, one more guy. Where's Mark Hovsepian? Matt Farniok. A lot of snaps today at center for him. So, again, he's our backup center right now. They're trying to work him in there, see what he can do. Again, he could play interior. He could play all 5 spots on the offensive line if he wanted. If they needed him to. But how well will he play? That's the question. Center and guard is maybe where he's better at. Now, running the ball. I mean, you just saw Errol Spence Jr. there with Jerry Jones. But running the ball, when the first goal line snap in today's minicamp practice, goal line, short yardage. Who got it? Rojo, Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones took the ball on the first and goal and ran it into the gut. And instead of the Zeke move there, we're using Ronald Jones. So that right now tells me, just to start off things, not Lipke, not these undrafted guys. It's going to be Ronald Jones taking the Zeke snaps for now. When we signed him, that's exactly what I said he's going to do until we either get someone better for that spot or, he can't hack it, whatever it may be. We'll have to see. But right now, with the rookies that can maybe come in there like Lipke or Princeton Fant and these undrafted guys, we'll see. But if they have a chance, it'll be later on in training camp. More than I think now. They might look at them now, but it seems like the main guy right now on those short yardage runs is Ronald Jones, number 32. Tony Pollard, running backs wise, right? By the way, this is the offensive line. You're seeing Tyler Smith at the tackle, at the guard, left guard spot, left tackle. You're seeing Tyron Smith there crouched down. And the right side, in the right side, you saw Waletzko, and next to him was Josh Ball as the right guard. Anyways, back to the running backs for a second. Tony Pollard did not take reps right now at this point of the practices, of this mini camp. He had taken some reps in the last 2 weeks, but very short work. This time they're resting him a little more, it seems. But he was not seen on the exterior field. I'm sorry, he was seen out there on the exterior field. They have that issue with the grass, but he was on the rehab section of the field, and he was doing cord work, continuing to do his rehab with Britt Brown over there. He did eventually make his way from the outdoor fields into the Ford Center, where he worked. He worked inside now instead of outside. He worked inside on those same cords continuing that rehab process for Tony Pollard. But everything looks good for him, guys. Now, you see here, that's Deuce Vaughn making a catch right there, guys, in the teeth of our defense. He had some first team snaps. Important to note, the Cowboys are trying to work him in there, like they're trying to see what Cavante Turpin can do. Well, they're trying to see what Deuce Vaughn, rookie 6th-round pick, can do. 5'5", 5'6" guy. We all know him. We all know and love him. Number 42, Deuce Vaughn. He jogged over after an 11-on-11 period. He jogged over to the sideline where the director of college scouting was standing there. You guys know who he is? I know he knows who he is. It's Chris Vaughn, his father. And he cordially, professionally shook his hand. Very professional moment between these guys. Father, son, together in Dallas, right? But Deuce Vaughn, the biggest thing about all this, the thing I like more than the great handshake and all that story, Deuce Vaughn was rotating in with the number ones, doing the red zone 7-on-7 drill. And you saw him making a catch there. The Cowboys are using him as a running back out of the backfield as a target, getting his hands on the ball and flying. So we'll see what happens with that as the season progresses. Again, they want to just take a look at him and see how he's doing.
Skeptical fan throwing this out there. I know we're in a different direction, but this made me laugh. He said Jerry needs to rub the janitor's foot before every game. And I know you mentioned more like rubbing a lucky rabbit's foot or something. For some reason, I'm picturing Jerry giving him like a full foot massage thing. Like it's very bizarre.
You just ruined my night. Oh man! But hey, look, we talked about the offensive line and running backs. There is a quote after the, and I'm sure we'll have a lot more tomorrow, quotes wise and thoughts from the players. But Tyron Smith also spoke, and he spoke about, and I should have kind of been interrupted on this when we were talking about the Tyron Smith on the going back to the left side. Mm-hmm. Well, what did he have to say from going from now? The difference between left tackle and left guard, for example, right? The difference between left tackle, left guard, and I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. It was not Tyron Smith. It was Tyler Smith. I'm getting a little confused. That's why I was like, why would he...
In this case, I'll forgive you just because, again, Tyron...
Thank you for forgiving me.
What I'm trying to say is I'm surprised it took us this long to mess them up. That's all.
I know I've had a couple mess ups in the beginning of this whole thing, and I'm getting tripped up again. But look, Tyler Smith, the second-year guy, rookie last year, he worked at left guard today, of course. So he was asked, what's the difference in going from left tackle back to left guard? What did Tyler Smith have to say, baby?
He said, just in terms of little technique things, you've got to take shorter steps. You've got to be more vertical with some steps. Pass sets, you don't kick as far. You've got to have quicker hands. Little nuances like that. That's part of the reason why Coach is having me work it now. So when we get into the season and get into training camp, it won't be as unfamiliar.
So again, good to see this happen for Tyler Smith. He's going to have to be a versatile left guard, left tackle guy for the Cowboys this year. Last year was just a left tackle, pretty much. I don't think he even played left guard last year. So he might have rotated in there a little bit, but he rarely played left guard. He played left. I think the Cowboys are trying to get him ready to take on the double responsibility that he needs to this year because we don't really have a left guard. And when he has to play left tackle is when someone like Tyron Smith gets injured. That's the unfortunate part. So, hopefully he can just, I think he's right now a top, I don't know, probably as a tackle, probably top 15 tackle in the NFL and, top 15 guard as well. He was ranked 16th in the NFL right there with, Zach Martin was ranked first and Tyler Smith was ranked 16th by PFF. So we got some of the best offensive linemen. We just got to get them in the right spot and go forward with them. And we haven't really, I don't feel like we've been able to do that yet. Hopefully this year will be different, but it's hard to do that when you have an often injured Tyron Smith. It's hard to be consistent like that. So, and you see the kicking here, but right before this, you saw some defensive backs. The defensive back group, maybe the corners and safeties, looking extremely deep, which again is something that we're worried about. Some people are even saying we should go and pick up a cornerback, but it sounds like, at least it looks like we're deep right now with a lot of talent on that field. Now, after being absent from the OTAs, Trayvon Diggs, as we know already, reported to the first day of minicamp. He definitely did not skip a beat, though, when it comes to his abilities of ball skills. He's got the ability to the quick reaction time, the burst, the agility, the play on the ball. That's the stuff that you see. The same Trayvon Diggs is out there, even if he's. I don't know if they never let us know why he missed those first 2 weeks of OTAs, or at least the days that they had the practice open to the media. But I'm assuming it has to do something with the contract, even though the Cowboys themselves said nothing to do with the contract. So, anyways, just letting you guys know on that. Now, also another guy, Stephon Gilmore. He baited Dak for an interception today. He tricked Dak. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't really know how it went down, but Gilmore basically
put on a receiver's jersey and then swapped it off the last.
Not like that. Not like that.
I know. I'm making a little joke.
I think it was more that he was able to like play off the receiver a little bit and then break a little faster than Dak thought. Dak was the quarterback here, and Gilmore had an easy interception at the pylon in the end zone on the 7-on-7s. So, again, Gilmore's skills are fantastic. And people are like, see, I knew it. Dak sucks. You know, the dumb Dak hating without thinking, right? Just so you guys know, for those that care, this is a drill, number one, in mandatory minicamp. It was a drill in practice, and it was a drill in the red zone where, you know, he had to force the ball in there. So, but it wasn't even a Dak issue. The throw by Dak was fantastic. It's more about Stephon Gilmore's ability than it was Dak throwing a bad pass or making a bad play. It was more the ability of Stephon Gilmore that showed on that play. And, you know, we're in practice here trying different things. But Gilmore showing the abilities of attacking that ball like Trayvon Diggs out there. We're going to have some top corners in this league, this duo. They're saying we're third right now. I don't know. They'll have to show it, I guess. But I'm not thinking it's too far off of second or first maybe in the NFL as far as dynamic cornerback duos. Now, last couple of things here on defense before we wrap it up and call it a night. And again, guys, I don't know if, we'll do that at the end. We give it the shout outs. But again, guys, if you want to, you know, hit that like button right now, here's your chance. Subscribe to the channel if you are new.
Best, simple, easy way to show some support here on the MCF side of things, of course. If, you know, just saying, like, in just a general sense, right? Along with, of course, liking the stream, sharing the stream, showing the love that way, and, of course, dropping the love here in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, it's different ways of doing things.
Memberships, all that good stuff. So
yeah, I didn't get to put the picture. I'm sorry, baby.
Okay.
But either way, yeah. So I was gonna say we're gonna say it for the end, because we're here at the end. There's only a couple last things to talk about here. So
you kind of started it. I figured that's where we were going. Sorry about that.
Oh no, I just said we'll do it later. We'll do it a little later. But yes, there's ways of dropping love. There's ways of helping the channel by hitting that like, subscribe, and that notification bell, so you know when we're going live on the nightly. And of course, videos posted, shorts posted. Check it out, guys. Trying to make it a full-time kind of thing here on MCF where we have something going on every couple hours. If it's a short, check it out. It's probably taken from one of our other videos, you know. But video, a short, or of course try to be nightly live streams, right? So as we continue this thing, guys, and you've seen the video down there at the bottom left of your screen. I got to go to linebackers real quick. LV doing his LV things, but it was more about Damone Clark to me. Damone Clark looked fantastic today, guys. Number 33. From what most people saw out there, he exhibited unbelievable speed, excellent footwork, and fantastic control. He also had a presence on the 7-on-7 drills, deflecting the ball multiple times. So Damone Clark at linebacker. Of course, we know Michael, but he's playing edge rusher. We know LV's the middle linebacker. Damone Clark stepping up amongst all the other linebackers right now. But what about Jabril Cox? You spoke about him a minute ago from Mike McCarthy's deep dive there. On the final drive of the Cowboys minicamp practice, it was owned by Jabril Cox, number 14. He had 2 consecutive pass breakups to prevent touchdowns in the end zone. By the way, those were thrown by Cooper Rush, not Dak Prescott. Didn't make a difference because it was still a very good pass. Oh, and the man from Hawaii, Mark Hovsepian, Big Mark, dropping that 5 on it. The $5 holler from him, and he's got 5 more points on that board. I think he is up to 45, is he now? I'm not sure. But he's crawling up there. He's got 45 points in the stream, boss. What did Mark have to say?
So, any gossip on free agent O-linemen or how our O-linemen look? The fact that we're experimenting so much with combos is not very good, in my opinion. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. Mark, I appreciate you. And again, look, I think that nothing new on the free agent side of things, so unfortunately can't report anything there. But the offensive line, I think the combinations you're seeing, it's so early, and it's not like week 3 and we're doing these combinations. It's not like we're in training towards the middle or end of training camp and we're doing these combinations. We're doing this now to get these guys kind of like the basic feel of where they may be playing. So I'm not a fan of these.
Ease them in there.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this is more like, what is it when you get guys ready, acclimate them? You're acclimating these guys not to football, but to their positions. And I say S to that positions because they're playing multiple spots, it seems like. Now, it's just more to have them ready. I don't think they're trying to move them around and get cute. But I do think that they're going to try to stick with continuity on that offensive line. more than mixing and matching guys around. But if you have to, they want to. The key is they want their guys ready if they have to mix and match some of the offensive line. So,
and the Lunatic, much love to you as well.
Lunatic in the house. Much love, Marco Sepian, with that 5 on it. Much love to everybody in here with the love, with the likes, hitting that like, the subbing, up to the channel and beyond. So thank you guys on that. So anyways, Jabril Cox, great end to the practice today. 2 consecutive pass breakups, prevented touchdowns twice in a row. Now again, guys, Cooper Rush threw great passes. It was more about Jabril Cox, his ability to be able to attack the ball in coverage. As a linebacker, that's important. During the 2-minute drill, end of the game situation for the second team, whereas backups on offense, second team on offense, second team on defense, Jabril Cox broke up an end zone pass and set up a 4th and goal. The next play, which ended the practice of 4th down, it was slowed down. They couldn't finish that 4th down right away because the teammates caused a brief delay because they were celebrating with Jabril Cox after that knockdown. But then on 4th down, all the players became louder because he broke up another end zone pass to quote unquote win this practice game or whatever you want to call it. So Jabril Cox, back-to-back plays to quote unquote win the game for the defense. Again, second team versus second team. Both throws, by the way, I want to reiterate this, by Cooper Rush, both throws on the money. Both throws, great coverage by Jabril Cox. Again, kind of like Stephon Gilmore beating out Dak. It's not about Cooper Rush's bad throw, it was more about Jabril Cox's ability, just like it was more about Stephon Gilmore's ability to jump in front of that pass by Dak Prescott. So again, it's great to see a lot of these guys, whether it's some of the young guys, the guys that we want to see bounce back, the guys that are, it's just going the right trajectory. Can't say it's going to work out, but we know it's going the right direction. It's not going the wrong direction. Everyone seems to be playing pretty well on their game. It's more about, who's going to outlast and be more consistent than the others. So, especially when it comes to depth. Now, the last thing, and you saw it here on the screen, the kicking. Tristan Vizcaino. He was today he had I think he had 1 or 2 warm-up kicks, and he had another 7 regular kicks in there. He went 9 for 9. In the entire practice. So again, hey, you think Vizcaino is not going to be the kicker for the Cowboys, but he did go a perfect 9 for 9 today. I'll explain how in a minute. Marco Sepian first explaining, I guess, some information here about that on that $2 holler.
Quick little question there with that $2 holler, mahalo to you, Mark, saying any surprise guys who might get serious play time?
Well, I think I mentioned, let's go. Playing that right tackle spot. I think
I know it's not necessarily what you want to hear, Mark.
No, I know. But he's looking good out there. I think he's somebody that I had a lot of confidence in. I mean, I talked about Sam Williams already. Tolbert's looking pretty consistent this year. He's a lot faster out there. But let's go. I think has a chance to be kind of a depth guy for us for now. If we need him in a pinch, he's trying that left guard spot. I'm not crazy about that, but can it work? Well, I mean, I think let's go can maybe do it on both sides of things. So I just think that there's a lot of guys you can step up. I think Sam Williams, Tolbert, Eric Scott had a great one today. Jabril Cox, can he continue that? We'll see. We'll see what happens. So, great question, though. Great question. I'm updating the board right now, baby. So hit up the chat real quick as I update this and put Mr. Marco Sepian in 3rd place on this board.
So, first of all, House Nelson in the house. Much love to you. He said Jabril Cox, Damone Clark, and potentially Overshown.
Oh, yeah.
What an embarrassment of riches, potentially.
Very good point. Again, Overshown, I haven't heard much about him, but, he's going to take lesser reps. He's probably taking 3rd-team reps right now. So you got to give him time to develop and become, whoever he's going to be, for the Cowboys give him a little time. He's just starting off, right? So I feel great. But Overshown has a high ceiling. Jabril Cox, can he get back on it again? McCarthy said specifically the injury that Cox had was the biggest issue. The injury that he had, it keeps him from kind of performing to his best even for a year after. So, I think we hope these things work out for these guys.
Yeah, I'm knocking on wood. Like the insinuation is also because of the injury situation. It's almost like that first year was just like, yeah, sure, it existed, it's great, but this is really like.
Well, again, he was a rookie. He got injured in his rookie year, but then it was last year that he really didn't show up at all. Last year, Jabril Cox didn't show up at all, and he actually, went backwards, in my opinion, last year. I don't know the reason why. He was still rehabbing from the injury. It took him a year and a half, basically, to rehab from this, according to Mike McCarthy. Let's see if it's true or not. McCarthy's been accurate about his words on players. Let's hope that this happens with guys like him, guys like Sam Williams, guys like Jalen Tolbert. So Marco Sepien now in second place after that $2 J. Lou Holler, who, by the way, is injured and is going to start the season on the PUP list. Not the season, I'm sorry, training camp on the PUP list. What did the man Marco Sepien have to say as he's back up to 49 points on the Stream Boss?
He said, "I'm trusting you to weed through the Jerry Jones types."
Ooh, man, that's tough.
The Jerry Jones hype.
Oh, I hear you. I
think it works both ways, though.
Yeah, types and the hypes. Listen, I am a guy who is going to look at things almost negatively. I know some of you guys might think I'm too overly positive maybe, but I look at things negatively in the Cowboys. I just look for – I know you can't be perfect. That's the one thing I do know. We cannot be perfect, but I do know that, like Mark Hovsepian and others have said, there's a lot of chances the Cowboys missed, I think, in improving this team, even depth-wise or starting-wise, right? So I have to see some of the things work out, but I'm going by McCarthy here. McCarthy has said this about Terrence Steele. He said this about I think a couple other guys last year that have come to fruition, but the main thing is when he talks about Terrence Steele, he talks about Jalen Tolbert, and he's having a great offseason right now, not like last year, and Sam Williams, who's, is already we're being told he's going to be getting a lot more snaps on defense. And then you add in there some of these other names that we're talking about. I mean, I think that it's not just the hype here. It's not coming from Jerry Jones's mouth. It's either from McCarthy or from our own eyes, so hope we're right. It's about being consistent. Damone Clark, I love to see what he's going to bring to the table. I know, baby, that was what your guy last year in his draft.
He was my favorite draft pick from last year, and every single time we mention him or I see him or anything, it just reminds me of that all over again. And honestly, love to see him continue on that upward trajectory.
Now, trajectory going upwards here, and a kick, we got to see them being made. That's Tristan Vizcaino. They're kicking at today's practice. He was 9 for 9, including warm-ups. His longest, he made a bank shot from 44 yards, knocked it in there, and his longest today was 55 yards, but he made them all, guys. He was the only kicker for the Cowboys on the minicamp roster, and doing a special teams portion, he hit field goals from 35 yards, 38 yards, 40 yards, 43 yards, 46 yards, 47 yards, and he moved it back to 55, and he nailed that as well. So, again, great day today for Tristan Vizcaino. The expectation is he will not be our week 1 starter at kicker. Keep that in mind, guys. One last thing, special teams-wise, Brian Anger. Don't talked about him much. He was actually out last week. We haven't seen him for a couple weeks, so he did practice today in the mandatory minicamp, and he unleashed an unbelievable booming punt, a skyscraping punt, and it hit the speaker, baby. It hit the speaker at the top of the rafters. But, of course, it's not AT&T Stadium. It's the Ford Field, Ford Center, a lot smaller. So, Anger just kicked that thing through the roof, literally through the roof. He kicked it. John Fossil ran up and nearly caught the deflected punt. And it was a huge reaction from the rest of the team. So they were having fun out there on special teams. Isn't that nice? And that's the wrap up here. First look, check it out. If you guys have not seen it yet, check it out on the standalone video. I also talk some of this stuff through there. And, kind of get you guys all updated on all the news, info, and updates on today's specific, mandatory minicamp. And I'm going to say this again. Day 1 practice. We have day 2 is tomorrow and day 3 is on Thursday. I'm not sure if the access will be the same, but if it is, we'll bring it to you once again tomorrow. Hopefully some more videos with some stuff and updates on what's going on at the actual practices. So, baby, you got me run out of this. It's a big one tonight. A lot of information. I'm excited to see how we're building up.
Busy. Our players even busier, and that's exactly what we want to see / hear. I have to admit, a few more guys were kind of banged up and bruised at this point in the off-season that I was kind of surprised. With Zach Martin with the soft tissue injury. Now we have Schoonmaker with the Achilles, and that type of scenario. That's all. So, but you know what? So far, we've had pretty good instincts for what is or isn't bullshit. So I have a feeling that we'll be able to continue to just kind of keep a close eye on some of our guys here and any free agents we bring in or anything else that goes on, and just kind of
keep my eyes open for a kicker and an offensive left guard.
Yeah, but the disrespectful way the Cowboys have been treating this guy, I almost feel bad for him because they're basically telling him to his face, like, we're looking for a new kicker.
Yeah, like, it's still not enough, even if you're perfect.
Dylan saying, don't forget about Quinn's secret weapons. Cornerback safety Israel
Mukuamu. He's a guy, again, we talked about him last week. He played a lot of that slot corner with Kelvin Joseph. So they're kind of fighting for the backup slot corner spot. But again, remember, no Jordan Lewis till who knows who's going to be on the PUP list in training camp. Deron Bland's probably the starter in there, but he's been playing on the outside cornerback spot. So that inside slot spot, nickel spot, has been kind of up for grabs for the backup spot. They're giving Kelvin Joseph a chance. They're giving Israel Mukuamu a chance to get that spot. I guess he'd technically be the third stringer because you got DeRon Bland and Jordan Lewis when he's healthy. And then whoever's the third guy, that could make the difference on who they keep. Can you be versatile enough to play safety and the slot corner? Are you versatile enough if you're Israel Mukuamu? Are you versatile enough to play the outside corner and the inside cornerback slot spot? Now, that's if you're Kelvin Joseph. So we'll see who wins that battle.
So, and with that, guys, again, huge shout out to everybody here chilling, hanging with us. If you haven't already, make sure to take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You guys can follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily and all the other social medias. Yep. But we do have to shout out a very particular person here, the sponsor of the week and the Cash App King.
King of the Cash App.
David S.
Much love to the man,
Thank
David
you so
S.
Much, David, seriously.
He took it down on Sunday night for the finale here. Much love to David S. And with all that in place, baby, he's the Cash App King. Got the crown. Who's coming for that crown right now? Second day in a row. Empty. No one. So, no one in the Cash App right now. And, that's open. That's ready for the taking. But the overall leader right now, it's the man who's the overall gifting champion for the month of May. He's the overall gifting leader right now over Jason Renfro. Yeah, it's Skeptical Fan. Much love to him in first place on the overall board. Man, a little mini takeover there by the man staying skeptical. Will he take it down this week? We shall see. Appreciate you, Skeptical Fan, and everybody in the house who's helped through the drops, whether it's through any of these ways of doing it, or, of course, the Super Chat memberships or the gifting stuff, right? So, anyway, just want to throw that out there, guys. And also shout out Skeptical Fan for the drops of today. Dwayne Broussard, Brandon James Shea, Aztec, and Mark Hovsepian. Appreciate all you guys dropping the knowledge and that love attached with it. Also, Lincoln Kane, star level member. I think he's back in it officially. I think tonight or tomorrow he'll be officially back in that star level, I think, repping it again. And he'll be in second place when this thing drops tomorrow if he hangs on into that star level membership. Much love to the man from Australia ripping that star of everything, Lincoln Kane. You guys, some of you guys know him. Mark Hovsepian, he knows what that 5 on it.
Thank you, Mark. Mahalo to you. And he said, so Armstrong will be coming off the bench with Parsons and Law being actual defensive edges? Williams has to take time from those two. Wait, let me repeat that. Williams has to take time from those two, and this allows Parsons to float.
Again, I agree with you. The thing is, how often will they let Parsons float? If they allow him to float a little more than last year. Well, last year he played almost 200, maybe 190 snaps as a linebacker. So, again, let's say it's 200 snaps at linebacker this year. That's not going to be many opportunities for Sam Williams. I do think, though, the first part of that question, when it comes to Dorrance Armstrong, I think he loses. I think Dorrance Armstrong loses some play time for Sam Williams. I don't know if it happens. I don't know if it happens right away throughout the season, as we go into the season, by the end of the season. But I do think that the Cowboys are going to go away from Dorrance Armstrong after this season, and they're not going away from Sam Williams. They got to build on Sam Williams. So I think that's the key here going forward. This year, it's going to be, we're going to have Dorrance Armstrong to play some of the run-stopping stuff and the first downs. I think you're going to see a lot of Sam Williams on second down, third down. I also think Dante Fowler in the mix. His snaps are kind of minimized last year as well. I think it's going to stay minimized for him. He's almost like a veteran insurance policy for like another Dorrance Armstrong type guy. Again, a little different. Where Dorrance Armstrong can get the sacks, but also has the edge ability. Fowler is more of the dynamic pass rusher. So you got two different kind of edges there. To me, they're more of backups. I think DeMarcus Lawrence also, sometimes he will play inside. Remember that, Mark. He plays inside as a 3-tech on pass rushing downs. Sam Williams will be on the other side, I think. It'll be Fowler, Sam Williams on the one side, and Micah on the other side on pass rushing downs. On first downs, you get Dorrance Armstrong. And maybe they'll work Sam Williams into the first downs a little bit more throughout the season. But I want to see Sam Williams at the end of the year try to be that 3-down guy. I want to see him be not just an edge rusher that get those numbers and the stats. I want to see the DeMarcus Lawrence from him. I want to see that edge run stop ability, that edge setting ability, so these guys don't run all over us on the outside. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Mark, great comment there. Again, I've talked about the fact that I think Fowler and Armstrong are going to lose a little bit of play time. It's going to give Sam Williams that 30 to 40% snap count that I think per game on average. I think it's going to help his numbers and help his future with the Dallas Cowboys going forward. And now I'm a big fan of him, Sam Williams. I think he's gotten a lot better.
No,
this offseason.
Undeniable.
And McCarthy backed that too. McCarthy said he's getting better. He's one of the guys that's standing out right now to him in his advancement in the offseason workouts, right? Offseason workout training, you can see the difference in guys like Jalen Tolbert on the field. You can see the difference with guys like Sam Williams on the field. I'm excited. Still, tempered, right? Tempered excitement, but I'm excited to see what may be coming here for 2023 with some of these up-and-coming second-year guys. Jump
Mahalo
guys.
to you again,
Woo, Mark Hosepian coming strong.
$5 holiday. Thank you, Mark. And he said, that's my concern. Armstrong, to me, is a solid backup. Williams has to take time from these two. If he does not, that will be a serious red flag.
I would agree because now it's up to Dan Quinn. So to me, if Dan Quinn can't see Sam Williams playing in there, that's the red flag.
Agreed.
But I think Dan Quinn already is making plans for Sam Williams to be in there. And again, Dorrance Armstrong is a good edge rush. He's a good exactly. He's a backup kind of guy. When you have a lot of pass rushers that are good, he'll get some sacks in there. I want to see Sam Williams takes those sacks away from him. I want to see Sam Williams be able to play the run better. If he does those two things, he'll just automatically earn more time. It's easier, I think, for him to earn time. And this is what I'm trying to say, Mark. When you look at the track record for the Dallas Cowboy front office, who are they going to put in there? They're going to put a guy who's going to be off his contract, or they're going to put a guy to try to build off the rookie year, or off his rookie contract, which is Sam Williams. I think you're going to see eventually much more Sam Williams. That's a goal for the Cowboys, I think, is to weed out Dorrance Armstrong and Fowler, and then eventually, have Sam Williams play the full-time role there. Probably next year, this year, he'll be taking snaps away from those guys. That's my opinion. Great talk there. And by the way, Mark's back up to 59 points on the Stream Boss. Just like that.
Mahalo to you again, Mark.
Still in second place on the overall board, though. Skeptical fan still in first. Now, I'll leave it there, baby. We had a lot of great discussions here. We'll be back at it again probably tomorrow. So I'm assuming we'll have some info on the day 2 of minicamp. I'm pretty sure it's 3 days in a row. So whatever happens, if it's on, we're on. So you know how it is. We'll probably take a break, probably a Friday this week. We'll see what happens. But either way, sometimes there's no break, especially during the season. So we'll be rocking it here on My Cowboys Family, repping this Dallas Cowboy team till death do us part. You know how we do this here, baby. So on that note, let's finish it up with the shout-outs tonight. And who's been in the house?
Of course. So thank you very much to Mark Hosepian.
Yeah.
Mahalo to you. The man, the lunatic. Much
Hell
love.
yeah, the Godfather.
We have House Nelson in the house. Almost shouted myself out. That happens pretty much every single night, right? House Nelson in the house. Skeptical fan always staying skeptical. Bama fan, much love to you. Let me see. Scorpio representing. Rolando Rodriguez, hello and hi. Let me see.
A lot of gifted memberships from the man Skeptical fan.
Heck yeah,
in
guys.
first place there. He's last month's winner, this month's leader over Jason Renfro. What a battle. Love it. And again, new thing we have here on this channel is those gifted If you're in the membership, you can gift memberships. Instead of dropping a 5 on it, you can drop it for somebody to get a membership. So that's a double bonus, double spreading the love. I love this new function from YouTube that was just given to us in May. So we just said, hell, let's just start a new board. And Skeptical fans like, that's mine, baby. And it is. Much love to him. Much love to all you guys. Drop the love here. And I don't know if you caught up all the comments in the chat and you did all the shout outs.
I was almost done with the shout outs. I didn't want to interrupt you. No, I didn't want to interrupt you, baby. So we have Aztec, Cameron, Aztec Aguilar 04. And yes, those are 2 separate people. Brandon James Shea, take it easy. Have a great night. We have House Nelson in the house. Landlord from Wakanda, much love. Nate Rosario, hello. Daniel Berry representing. Don Oliver, what's up? So yeah, that's actually as far back as it's letting me go.
Any last comments before we say the good nights?
DeLunatic said, as Brada said when he asked his gang of 7 about highest trade value, Armstrong was the top trade value.
And that I would have 0 problems. No offense to Dorrance Armstrong. Great deal for the production, but I have no problem trading Dorrance Armstrong for a 4th round pick. I'm just saying, 3rd round pick. The money is good. The production is good. Come on, let's get something. Let's get a guard. How about a guard? Let's bring in a guard that's not on the free agent list, Let's use Dorrance Armstrong. Let's use Jordan Lewis if he's able to. I know he's on the PUP list, so we're giving him away for nothing there. In my opinion, that would be a bad idea, so I'd rather just keep him. But you do save $5 million with Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis also, though, same time, no one's going to take a deal with him because this $5 million is too much for his production in the sense of staying healthy. He has the production. But Doris Armstrong, like Brian Burda said, and the lunatic here passing along to us, yes, I agree. Doris Armstrong definitely has trade value from the Cowboys, especially if you want to get Sam Williams on the forefront of this defensive line for the future. So agreed there, the lunatic.
They have a symbiotic relationship there.
On that note, though, it is time to wrap it up for the night. We'll be back probably tomorrow. If the Cowboys are practicing, we're going live tomorrow night right here on My Cowboys Family. Give you the news, info, and updates as we always do. But baby, before we can drop out of here for the night, tell everybody why we do this here on the Nightly.
You never said what do we have to do. But what do we have to do?
I said, what do we do on the Nightly?
No, you didn't. It's okay. It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Hell yeah, guys. Win, lose, or draw. Good, bad, or ugly. Even through the mistakes from both of us tonight. Never forget, we're repping that star over everything. Win, lose, or draw. Good, bad, or ugly. Maybe. Why do we do this? I mean, not why do we do this, but now that we're wrapping this up, right here on My Cowboys Family for literally weeks away from 6 years on YouTube. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, say it loud and say it with us. Go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for rocking with us in the chat, dropping the knowledge all night long. All night. Yeah, not a great singing. Hopefully that will keep us from being dinged by YouTube. Guys, thank you all for dropping the knowledge. Keeps it going. Truly humbled and appreciative of the love from above. Yes, your donations, your memberships, gifting them, just the drops, however it is, guys, Cash App, whatever. Super Chats, thank you. On that note, it is time to drop out and clock out officially for the night before we can relock and reload for another show tomorrow. OTA day, not OTAs, forget OTAs. Mandatory Minicamp Day 2. We'll meet you back here, same time, same place, right here on My Cowboys Family. But before we can drop out for the night, baby, tell everybody what we got to do.
We gotta drop the beat.
Oh yeah, that beat has now been officially dropped. Thank you all for rocking with us here. Madman here in the house. I see him there, the lunatic, Marco Sepian, and the rest. Drop them if you got them. A lot of you guys are in the membership, so drop those emojis if you got them. Thank you all rocking with us and giving us your 2 cents of what you think of our Cowboys. And remind every Eagle fan some basic mathematics and knowledge. No matter where you are on this Earth, planet, or universe, yeah, you know it. 5 is always greater than 1. Those are facts. I just have to state them. Guys, thank you for our chit-chat today. Another Cowboys chat. Minicamp recap day 1. Talked about it all. Offense, defense, special teams, injuries, holdouts, or, pseudo-holdouts contract-wise with Trayvon Diggs. So that way. And just, guys that are coming to, getting a little better, getting that second-year jump. Guys that maybe are, not seeing as much reps on the field, or just all-around improvements from everybody. That's what we want to see. Rookies, veterans. Let's go Cowboys going forward in this thing. Day 1 of minicamp, mandatory minicamp is over. Tomorrow, day 2. Back in Big D, baby. And here on MCF, it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here, My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone in the house. Appreciate you all watching the replays. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe, notification bell so you know we're going live. And again, can't do this without all you guys' love and support. Thank you guys. Have a great night. Stay safe. Peace out. And never ever forget, go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.